Yo! Welcome back to the channel. A lot of people have been asking for an update along with more details on the skills and support gems being used in this beast of a build. So here it is. This is an update for where I'm up to with the start of mapping. Again, this is one of the most powerful yet cheapest builds in the new update. At the time of making this, I've invested a handful of exalts to put this together. So just to recap, this is the Smith of Kitava Warrior. We are prioritizing Coal Stoker and Smith's Masterwork as your main ascendancy nodes. Let's jump in and visit what everyone is wanting, the skills. Your main damage dealer in this build is Shield Wall. Shield Wall creates a wall in front of you that when shattered by your own attacks, so totems, war cries, or shield charge, it explodes and destroys everything around it. You want to maximize shield wall damage with plus to melee skills everywhere you can get it. Gloves, weapon, helmet, amulet. Also keep feeding it high level skill gems, and also remember to get leech mana on rings or somewhere else to sustain your mana usage. Support gems for shield wall. You've got rapid attacks for increased attack speed. You've got magnified effect for 45% increased area of effect. You've got armor break. So break armor equal to 15% of physical damage dealt by support skill. So you can get as high armor break as you can. At the moment I've got a 2, but you can upgrade that. And then impale is one that you can add on if you've got a socket for it. If not, it's not mandatory, but it will add extra stacking damage for bosses. It's very important to increase the quality of your shield wall using all 4 gem cutters prisms. You get another 40% more damage when fully upgraded. Next we have the skills to break shield wall to create those screen clearing explosions. First, we've got Infernal Cry. This will empower and add fire damage to your shield wall explosions. You want to add Tireless. Support skills have 20% chance not to count as usage of that empower. Raging Cry to add 4 rage per 5 power of countered enemies. And then Cooldown Recovery. Again, buy the cooldown recovery that you can afford. Obviously, the higher, the better. The next one we use is Fortifying Cry, which essentially gives you Guard, which is damage blocking buff, and a big damage boost using Shield Wave. For this, we want to use Raging Cry. Again, gives us 4 rage per 5 power of countered enemies. Fire Attunement, so similar to Infernal Cry, it'll add fire damage to enemies. And then on top of that, Enraged War Cry. If it's on cooldown, you can use some of your rage to use it again. Both war cries work best when used against groups of at least 5 nearby enemies. The next attack to break shield wall is Shield Charge. Now you can use Shield Charge for traversing the map because you're always blocking during the animation, unlike normal sprint. It's also excellent for exploding shield wall. And then for support gems in here, we've got rapid attacks. Next up, we have Shockwave Totem. This creates a pulsing shockwave around the totem that will automatically break your shield wall, causing it to explode. Perfect for bossing. For that, we're using Urgent Totems, so you can place it down faster. Buy the highest level of that you can. Hardy Totems gives it more life. Again, buy the highest one you can afford. And then for bossing, we've got Font of Mana, which will create a radius of 4 meters where you will get leech mana of 12% of physical damage dealt by the totem. Right, so again, handy for bosses getting that mana back. Next, we have Sunder. It'll be used mainly for bosses. It'll apply a strong armor break debuff, making the boss take 40% more damage. For supports, we want to use Rapid Attack, and we want to use Prolonged Duration as high as you can get it. That way the Sunder effect lasts as long as we can get it to last. At the moment, we have a lot of spirit that's free to use. So to support the build and the fire that we're using, we're running Herald of Ash, which will ignite enemies when you overkill with Shield Wall. This will cause an explosion that lights nearby enemies based on the overkill damage dealt. Support gems for this one, we're using Magnified Area. You want as high as you can get on that one as well. And then on top of that, we're using Attrition. This will give you 1% more hit damage to rare and unique enemies for every 2 seconds they've been in your presence. Now, here's something new I've added since the last update, which is called Refutation. This bad boy uses Runic Ward to block all hits for a temporary time frame. It also has an additional benefit where it applies debuff if you get hit while Refutation is active. Enemy takes an extra 50% more damage. Absolute ripper for bossing. For support gems for that, we've got Prolonged Duration, as big as you can get there. Cooldown Recovery for as long as you can get, because it does have quite a small window of usage. And then Mobility is just an added one I've thrown in there. So to take you through how the rotation works for mapping, you want to throw down Shield Wall and then rotate between both your war cries, Infernal Cry and Fortifying Cry, to build up your rage and your guard, and then throw in the occasional shield charge for either small groups or when the war cries are on cooldown. For the bossing rotation, you want to start with Refutation to get that Runic Ward protection layer up and set up your 50% damage debuff if you get hit. Then drop Shockwave Totem, do each war cry, and then spam Shield Wall. The totem will auto-explode your Shield Wall. Once you see the broken armor icon on the boss, that's when you use Sunder to apply the 40% more damage debuff. Then go back to your Shield Wall rotation. If you notice your totem runs out of health or duration, throw it down, start the rotation again. Now, let's talk about the gear. What I'm running is very basic, but it's more than enough to get you through early mapping till you find better gear. The most important thing to understand here is Shield Wall's damage dealer, and the damage does not come from your weapon. It scales from the total armor on your shield. So shield is important to stack as much armor as possible, including qualitying it up and adding your iron runes. For chest, you want a normal white chest, strength-based, with as much armor as possible. The stats you're seeing on there are coming from my Smith of Kitava. So whatever you choose in your Smith of Kitava Ascendancy node, this is where these stats are applied. I've got life, fire resistance, armor applies to elemental, physical damage from hits taken as fire damage, but you can swap that out to other things as well. For weapon, again, damage isn't the main part of it. You mainly want plus to level of melee skills. As high as you can get it. At the moment, you'll notice mine is pretty low. It's all I've got so far, but it is incredible. This is more than enough. If you stack it in a few spaces, it really, really adds up. Then you want attack speed's another really big one that's great to have. That will carry across. I have very low level gloves. For these, you melee skills, and you want leech of physical attack damage as life. Stat you want here that's important is movement speed. Everything else you can go with whatever you want. On here you can see I'm stacking fire resist as you should on all your gear. Only fire resist. Put any extra stats in there that you find are helpful. My belt, Headhunter as soon as I'm able to. If you notice at the moment my resistances are all capped. The main thing to go for here I would suggest would be fire resistance, plus to life, and then and obviously 2 charm slots at minimum, and anything else that you want. Helmet, you want plus to melee, and any other useful stats you can have, plus to crit, life, mana, anything you can put in there. I don't even have plus to melee in this, although that's what I'll be aiming to add next. For Amulet, you want plus to melee again. You'll notice my Amulet is also missing that, but that is my next upgrade. This one mainly is just running extra armor, which is very, very helpful. Plus to life, plus to mana, plus to crit chance, and plus to critical bonus. But again, you can mix up what you want here. You could have a rarity. This build gives you a lot of freedom to stack other stats. So really, all you need to stack is fire resistance. Remember, with this build, you only need to stack fire resistance thanks to the Coal Stoker in your Ascendancy. So you have a lot of freedom to add other stats instead of cold or lightning. So chaos, rarity, feel free to build your build however you want. That's the current state of the Smith of Kitava Warrior. Super tanky, surprisingly fast clear speed, and extremely cheap to get going. Even with under 1 div invested, this build is strong in early maps. If you want a beginner-friendly, satisfying, and budget warrior that can actually scale, this is one of the best options right now. Let me know in the comments, are you running Smith of Kitava? What skills or support gems are you using differently? And also drop any questions you have and I'll try to answer them. If you've enjoyed this update, smash that like button, subscribe for more Path of Exile 2 content, and I'll see you in the next one. You can also catch me on Twitch at Master Mitch.